How you doing, everybody? It's January the 14th, 2010, Thursday. It's coming up to 7 o'clock in the evening. And what I want to do is this evening, I just want to touch on just one thing. I want to try and keep this short. And what I want you to do is I want to refer you to down here a link on YouTube. And so it's another link, as it were. And really what it is, I saw it this morning, and I must say it had a really wonderful impact, a dramatic impact on me. I was actually taken back by it. And it's from that Alex Jones channel. Now, I don't know if people know about Alex Jones. I don't know very much about the man, except, as I've said before about him, I probably wouldn't agree with a lot of his politics. He'd be coming from a fairly right-wing scenario. But it doesn't matter. He's a Democrat and he's a constitutionalist, and I agree with him there. So we would have a lot of common ground in that, from that regard. And what he did was he had a young girl from Iceland on, and up until a year ago, this young girl was, from what I can make out, she looks to me to be a university student or something like that. She looks very young looking. She looks maybe about 25, or maybe she's not. Maybe she's older than that. But I don't think she had any direct involvement in politics up until about a year ago, until this crisis broke out in Iceland, this banking crisis. And then what happened was the Icelanders, being the Icelanders, I mean, these are Vikings, you don't mess with these people. They decided that they would do something about it. The people themselves decided that they would do something about it, because their government obviously wasn't doing it, and their politicians. Now, from what I can make out from what she says, I'm just reading up generally about Iceland, this is a small island, and up until I think the 40s, it was an imperial adjunct of Denmark, and then they got their freedom, as it were. And it's immensely rich. It has a very, very fertile sea all around it, and it has lots of natural resources. It has those geothermal springs, and it has lots of big natural dams and various things like that. So there's only 320,000 people, from what I can make out, on the island, and a lot of them be farmers, and a lot of them be fishermen, and various things like that. So they got embroiled in this. Their banks did anyway, and basically bankrupted them. So what happened was, this young girl, like a lot of people obviously in Iceland, saw what was happening and clearly identified what was happening, and realised this was the road to penury if they didn't do something about it. So they got out and they did something about it, and they organised themselves, her and a group of her fellow associates who thought like her, organised themselves into like a People's Party type thing. And anyway, they had an election there recently, and they got 7% of the vote. This is out of nothing. So all power to her. Her name is Birgitta Jónsdóttir, alright? And she's listening to this young girl, all of a sudden your spirits lift, because she's unlike me. She's not up in your face trick. It's very quite laid back what she says, but it's very calm and very profound, and it has a lot of gravitas, a lot of weight behind it, a lot of substance in what she says. And I have to say, I'm in awe of her. I really am. I love something like this. Nobody's been killed. There's been no serious violence done anywhere. Nobody getting in the back rooms and planting bombs or any of that shit. Okay? None of that business, because that doesn't go anywhere. Okay? What's happened is, these people have got together, they've organised themselves. They're now going to have a massive referendum on to decide whether or not they accept this business about paying back these international banks or not. And when you hear, I've put the link up to the Alex Jones thing. I think it warrants serious examination, because I think this is what's facing us in about a year, 18 months down the line. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is. Because I think these muppets that we have running the show, I don't think they know their arse from their elbow. And it's just wonderful to hear a young girl like this, so enigmatic and so almost prophetic, talking about her country and where it's going to go, and how it's up to the people, and how the crisis has radicalised the people, how the economic crisis has forced the people to think about politics. These are people who would never have thought about politics before, and now they openly discuss politics, and that's what's going to happen here in Ireland. Because as we enter this, we've only started the end of this crisis. As we enter this crisis more and more and more, and we get deeper and deeper and deeper into it, we will be forced into talking politics. Politics will be openly discussed more, and the contradictions, we will more clearly see the contradictions, and we'll be able to see who's singing off what hymn sheet, and who represents what class interests, and who represents the bankers and the politicians and all the rest of it. So things are going to clarify a lot over the coming period in Ireland. And anyway, I don't want to really say any more. I just think you should look at this article. I think it's a four section article. Lasts about, I think, about 40 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's going to be up on that channel for a while. So just even if you look at it one of the sections every day, it's only 8 or 9 minutes per day. But wow, I'm just really impressed. I really am. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on what's going on in Iceland, because I think that this will be the litmus test for a lot what's going to happen in places like Greece and in places like Ireland. But anyway, let's see. As I say, that's the link there, and you know where I'm coming from. Okay, anyway, see you shortly, everybody. Bye.